For today's Business Matters, we're joined by Don Mott. Don, always great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Good.
Indeed, fantastic. What's new in the business world?
All right, let me get started on this right away. The number of Americans making first-time claims for jobless benefits dropped last week, and this is according to data from the Department of Labor released today. There were 218,000 first-time claims for unemployment benefits. That's down from the 222,000 the previous week. Now, the number of new claims fell below economists' expectations, which were at around 223,000. Meanwhile, continuing claims from those who are already receiving jobless benefits were slightly up. They increased to 1.83 million for the week. And U.S. economic growth accelerated in the second quarter amid strong consumer spending. The Commerce Department has updated its GDP and GDI numbers. The Department of Bureau of Economic Analysis says last quarter's gross domestic product increased at an unrevised 3% annualized rate. So domestic income increased. It was revised up to about 3.5%. And the average of the two, known as gross domestic output, was revised up as well. It rose to just over 3%, and this number is considered a better measure of economic activity. Now, OpenAI's chief technology officer says she is leaving the company after 6.5 years. Mira Moradi says working with the OpenAI team has been an extraordinary privilege. She wrote on X saying that there's never an ideal time to step away from a place one cherishes, but she says this moment feels right. Moradi joins a list of executives who have recently left OpenAI, and the shakeup in leadership comes as the ChatGPT maker considers a restructuring plan. The company's plan for growth includes making it easier to raise funds from investors and generate revenue. Moradi says she is leaving to create time and space for her own exploration. She plans to help with the leadership transition. And staying with OpenAI, top artificial intelligence firm OpenAI reportedly plans on going for profit. And this is a big shift away from its nonprofit roots. Here's that story.
OpenAI is planning on becoming for-profit. CEO Sam Altman said Thursday it may become a public benefit corporation.
It's inevitable given the amount of money they have to spend. Because it's not like they're all taking that money in salary, right? They're spending hundreds of billions in infrastructure, hundreds of billions in model training.
AI expert Ashley Monraj says it's logical to go for profit. It's harder for a nonprofit to raise money because investors have their profits capped.
They're competing with Google and, the other big tech players too. Llama is pouring a lot of money into that. And you even have XAI and others that are actively trying to compete.
Monraj says they need to do this to remain competitive in a cash-intensive industry.
If you want to be the world's most capable model, then you won't have a choice. You'll have to find ways to pay for it.
Alexander de Ritter is the co-founder of AI firm Smith OS, which uses OpenAI's tools. He agrees OpenAI needs enormous amounts of money.
Even if they are closed and they are for profit, so long they continue to lead the world's research and continue to put out great models and make them accessible over API as a developer, I will continue to be very grateful.
Billionaire tech magnate Elon Musk sued Sam Altman earlier this year. Musk says Altman has betrayed the firm's founding mission to ensure AI benefits all of humanity. Regarding becoming for-profit, Musk posted Wednesday night, "This is deeply wrong."
Now, the Federal Trade Commission is cracking down on businesses that use deceptive artificial intelligence to lure in customers. In a new law enforcement sweep operation, AI Comply, the FTC took action against companies it said used AI to trick, mislead, or defraud. And the alleged schemes included use of an AI tool that enabled customers to create fake reviews, as well as advertising for the world's first AI lawyer and AI-assisted e-commerce businesses, all of which are illegal and failed to deliver and defrauded consumers of millions of dollars. And Micron Technology's upbeat forecast had revived a frenzy around artificial intelligence. Its stock surged before the opening bell and remained in the green. This is in response to the chip makers sharing higher than expected revenue forecast for the upcoming quarter. Executives attributed the rise to an increased demand for its chips in data centers for AI. Positive results from Micron have reinvigorated the market after mixed reports from rivals like Nvidia and its previous disappointing update. Investors may remain wary about Micron's non-AI markets though, including personal computers and smartphones, where the company is still recovering from a slump. And U.S. Steel said yesterday an arbitration board had ruled in favor of Nippon Steel's almost $15 billion buyout of the company. The United Steel Workers Union disagreed with the decision. The board ruled that U.S. Steel met all the conditions in its labor agreement with the union, though the union said the decision did not change its opposition to the deal. The deal has faced political opposition since it was signed last December. Presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump say they support keeping U.S. Steel as an American-owned company. Southwest Airlines open seating is staying put for at least another year. The airline says its passengers will be able to book a reserved seat in late 2025 for flights in early 2026. In July, Southwest announced it is stepping away from the open seating model it's had in place since the airline was founded. The airline also said it would offer premium seating for the first time. Between now and the rollout, Southwest will be reconfiguring its planes. The airline is hoping this change will help the company, which has struggled since 2020. And everything from bananas to factory supplies could soon be cut off by a strike. Longshore workers at ports from Maine to Texas are set to walk off the job as early as next Tuesday. The International Longshoremen's Association did not comment on the exact raise it was asking for, but it said an average pay increase of about 10% a year would be reasonable given the profits in the shipping industry. The U.S. Maritime Association represents the major shipping lines, which are all foreign-owned terminal operators and port authorities. It has called the union's demands unreasonable. Military cargo and passenger ships should not be impacted. Depending on how long the strike goes on, there could be serious shortages and price hikes. Now, H&M scrapped its earnings margin target for 2024 as higher discounting costs and fierce competition hurt operating profit in the third quarter. Shares in the world's #2 listed fashion retailer are down 8% on the news. Here's more.
H&M has ditched its earnings margin targets for the year. That's after higher discounting and costs hurt operating profit in the third quarter, along with fierce competition from Spain's Zara, its bigger rival, and Chinese cut-price retailer Shein. Shares in the Swedish fast fashion company tumbled as much as 8% on Thursday morning before recovering some ground. Weaker consumer demand amid high inflation has caused H&M to struggle with profitability. It said that costs around shutting down online outlet Afound hurt income too, along with currency movements and the cost of markdowns increasing over the quarter. CEO Daniel Erver said he estimated the year's operating margin to be, quote, lower than 10%. H&M did warn in June that factors including material costs made the 2024 target harder to reach. But scrapping the goal entirely with no new margin guidance puts more pressure on Erver to turn the brand around. H&M has been on a marketing blitz, hosting a London Fashion Week event with pop star Charli XCX. Erver said that he believes this investment in elevating the brand would ultimately boost sales and profitability. H&M's operating margin for the first 3 quarters was 7.4%, with a third quarter margin of 5.9%. The last time H&M produced a double-digit operating margin was in 2017.
Next, as part of an $8 billion handbag merger, private emails from Michael Kors and executives have been revealed in court. Kors was upset that the brand seemed to be going after unfashionable customers, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. Michael Kors handbags, regularly priced at $450, were selling for less than $100. The messages are evidence in an antitrust trial over the proposed Michael Kors merger with Coach. Michael Kors reached a peak in popularity in 2016. Since then, sales have fallen 25%. Some experts believe that highlighting the struggles at Michael Kors will downplay the idea that the two brands are direct competitors. Now, postage stamps are about to cost even more. The United States Postal Service said it plans to raise stamp prices 5 times over the next 3 years. First-class postage is currently 73 cents. USPS said stamps will remain at that price until the first price hike, which is set for July 2025. The increases will then repeat each January and July thereafter through the end of 2027. The agency did not say how much the price hikes will be. All price changes must be first approved by the Postal Regulatory Commission. Now, it's being called a world first. There are plans to expand a 21-acre hotel and campground in Texas using industrial-sized 3D printers. But as layer after layer of material is printed, some are raising concerns over the challenges the technology presents. Here's more.
3D printing technology and the hospitality industry are converging in the West Texas desert.
It's fair to say we will be the first 3D printed hotel in the world.
Here on the grounds of El Cosmico, a 21-acre hotel and campground, an industrial-sized 3D printer is extruding layer after layer of concrete mixture to form the walls of 2 new model units. The plan is to extend the site by 40 extra acres to include 43 hotel units and 18 residential homes, 3D printed by Icon, an Austin, Texas-based 3D printing company. El Cosmico owner and hotelier Liz Lambert is inspired by the process.
I've never been able to build with such little constraint and such fluidity, and just the curves and the domes and the parabolas. It's a crazy way to build.
Yeah, 3D printing gives you a lot more room to experiment into, or even if you're sort of like quite confident, to do more organic forms and shapes. And sort of as you walk in right away, you see this is going to be a 3-bedroom unit.
The 3D printed buildings will feature domes, arches, and curved walls, architectural features that would normally be too expensive to replicate on a large scale using traditional construction, according to Lambert. The single-story units are printed by Icon's Vulcan, a 46.5 feet wide 3D printer, standing almost 16 feet tall and weighing nearly 5 tons. A print technician monitors Vulcan as its robotic arm and nozzle glide through the worksite, applying a special cement-based proprietary mixture called Lavacrete.
You know, the base mixture, you know, it's a little bit secret, so I won't give you all the formula, so to speak, but it's we've restricted ourselves to a list of like sort of globally and ubiquitously available materials so that we can do this all over the world and do it affordably all over the world.
A typical 3-person crew for these projects include a print technician keeping track of the printer and its preset path through software on a tablet. That's a stark contrast to typical construction crews. And while many are energized by the new process, Milad Bazli, a science and technology lecturer at Charles Darwin University in Australia, says the automation of 3D printed construction could displace skilled laborers like masons.
From the social point of view and the effect in the economy in terms of the local jobs, especially in remote areas, that will be one of the challenges that we need to consider when we're going to the 3D printing method. And I really see that the future will be definitely an more automated way, even if it's not fully 3D printed.
Still, Lambert is excited to be a trailblazer.
People will start to become familiar with 3D printing, but a hotel, I think, is always a great way to be exposed to something you might not be exposed to at home.
All right, quickly, markets, major indexes all in the green on Wall Street. S&P 500 closes higher to post fresh records, up 0.4% today. Other markets up too. The Dow is up 0.6% and the Nasdaq up 0.6% as well. And that's all the stories today on Business Matters. Back to you guys, Carrie, Fiona.
Thanks, Don. You getting ready to check into the 3D printed hotel room?
Well, from what I saw, I mean, they're not finished, but from the prior image, I mean, after the product is finished, I mean, it looks pretty good, but I don't know. I don't travel a lot, so but it is definitely an innovative idea for sure.
Yeah, I'd be down to stay in one. Seems cool. Would you?
Indeed, yeah. I would love to go and check in and give it a try. So,
but I think maybe this technology is still in its infancy phase because from what I saw, they're not very tall hotels. They're perhaps just single stories. But I can imagine it's a lot cheaper to use 3D printed materials and definitely allows for more customization.
Something to keep an eye on. Thanks, Don, as always.
Thank you.